So, I was supposed to be induced on that Monday, and that Thursday night and Thursday morning, it was like midnight almost. And hold on. So Thursday at like midnight, I thought I would start having contractions, and they was timing them, and they were like, they were regular, but I don't know, they were regular. And then they like stopped. So we went to the hospital, they checked me in and whatever, and they monitored me on the machine for, I think they monitored me that time for an hour. And then they sent me back home. And then I went home. I think we got back at like 1 o'clock in the morning, something like that. I went home. I don't remember what I did during the day, but it was like 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was telling them, my mama and my friend, like, that the baby's coming today. I don't care what y'all talking about, the baby's coming today, because I didn't want to get induced. And I was bouncing on this yoga ball, and like, I had so much energy. I was like, I don't know what, y'all need to go get a nap because the baby coming today. And so they was like, okay, we're going to take a nap, whatever. So then I said I was gonna take a nap too. So I got into bed, thought I was gonna go to sleep, and I was like, oh, I gotta go pee. So this was like literally maybe 15 minutes between the time they left and the time I went to go pee. So I went to the bathroom to go pee. My plug came out. And so I was like, oh my gosh. I said it, and she coming. After that, I had contractions like constantly. And my hospital is 30 minutes away from my house. My mama made me, she came and got me. She had a towel and all that. She came and got me. We went to the hospital. I was so mad because I was like, this is the only time you can literally turn on your blinkers and drive as fast as you want to. My mom was literally driving under the speed limit. I was so mad. So it took us like forever to get there. And I think the speed limit was 65, and I think she was driving 55. I was so mad. But I couldn't say I was mad because I was in pain. Like, I had my eyes closed, I would say 99% of the way. Like, I opened my eyes one time, or maybe twice, to see like where we were. And then I saw we wasn't going fast enough. I was just like, I'm not opening my eyes again. So I get to the hospital, I'm like, they made me do all the check-in stuff over. And I was like, I was just here this morning, I gotta do all this stuff over. Man, that time they put me in a wheelchair. Was I in a wheelchair the first time? Maybe I was. I can't remember if I was in the first time, but I know I was in the second time. And so they take me to the same little room where they gotta like monitor my belly or whatever. Except this time, because my water was broke, they don't let, if your water breaks at the hospital, that hospital, if your water breaks, they don't let you get back up. So you have to stay seated at all times. So by the time I got to my actual like intake room, I had to pee so bad, y'all. And they was trying to get me to pee in that little pail thing. I'm just like, this ain't working. I need to go get on the pot. And she like snuck me to the bathroom to let me pee. But she wasn't supposed to. I was supposed to pee in the pan. I just couldn't do it. It was just, that was so weird and awkward. I hope I never have to do that, because y'all gonna have to give me a catheter, because no ma'am. I'm almost at the window. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to pee in a pan. So after that, my contractions were like back to back. I said they were like, it wasn't even like a minute. I think it was like a minute in between the whole time. And the night before when I went, I was 3 centimeters dilated. when I went to the hospital the second time and I was actually in labor, I was still at 3 centimeters. Now, when I was at the, like, going to the doctor's office, you know, they make you go like every week or whatever. When I go to the doctor's office, I was at 1.5 for like a month. And so I get back into bed. I'm doing a natural birth, so no medication. When we went in, it was like 9 at night. I think I got an epidural at like 2 or 3 in the morning, something like that. Y'all, them contractions got to like where it's a way I can explain it to you, but it's disgusting, and most people probably won't be able to relate to it, so I'm not gonna use that example. But it was like, what was it like? I'm trying to find some way to explain it. Every time one would come, all I could do was grab onto the rail on the side of the bed and like press against it real hard at the same time that they were happening. That's what I did. And it got to a point where like that was fine, whatever. That breathing stuff they tell you, go right out the window. Like, no. I don't think I'm having another child, but yeah. I just don't think you're in the mindset to think about what you need to be doing. Maybe if I went to a class where I did like every week and I was thinking about it all the time, but I was just like, I looked up like YouTube videos and I watched it like every now and then. And yeah, so I didn't have like a birthing class or anything like that. So I was just like breathing, trying to breathe just like the regular like yoga breaths and pushing up against the railing. And I was so exhausted because it was like a minute back to back, but I was still at 3 centimeters. Like I wasn't progressing at all. And I was exhausted. When I say exhausted, like, it's like you try to take a mini nap in a minute in between everyone, and they just come back. I had 2 songs that played, maybe 1 song that was playing. I think it was 2 though. The whole entire time. I had like a playlist. I knew I wanted to hear that song. And I don't know if anybody got tired of it because they never said anything. But my stepmom was there. My brothers, 2 of my brothers was there. And then my grandma was, no, she came the next morning. So it was my stepmama, my daddy, my 2 brothers, and my mama was there. I think that's it. I don't freaking know. It could have been other people there, and I just don't know. I actually want to go back and talk to the people that was there so they can tell me like their version. And when I actually asked for the, like, I found out later that my mom was like going through it because she saw me going through it, basically, and she wanted me to get the epidural. And I was just like, no. And I don't think she actually said that to me, but somebody told me that later that she wanted me to get it. Maybe she told me. I don't know. And so when I finally got it, I just felt so like bad about it. Like, I got the epidural. I felt like wonderful. When I say after I got that thing, whoo, Jesus. They could drain my pee, so I didn't feel like I had to pee. That's what, you're gonna feel like you gotta pee the whole time anyway. And then after they gave me the epidural, I slept from the time they gave it to me until like, I think it was maybe 7 or 8 in the morning, something like that, 9. But the lady behind me, like in the suite behind me, she was in labor and she was doing a natural birth. And every time she would have a contraction, I would be crying because I felt so bad that I got a epidural. But I don't know what it was. I probably was just emotional, but she just sounded like she was in so much pain. Like, she would just make me cry because she felt like she sounded like she was in so much pain. But I actually got to hear like the birth of her child, like literally like the whole thing. And later on, my grandma came, my grandpa came, my Aunt Pearl came. I think Aunt Pearl was with them. And who else came? My Aunt Ruby came. I think that was it. Oh, my god sister came, Kiwi. She a nurse. And so we was in there or whatever. And that's when Arpy started having like she couldn't breathe. So I had to like turn to one side, and I had like this little thing between my legs. It was horrible. It's like a kind of like a football type thing, but it got holes for your legs. But it was hard, like really hard, like wooden. But it was supposed to keep like your pelvic open or whatever, so the baby could breathe. But her heart rate kept dropping, so they kept coming like adjusting me. So it wasn't like I could be in the position I wanted to be. I really wanted to be standing up, but they don't let you get up out the bed. And so I actually originally I wanted to have her in a birthing center, and I was just scared that if something happened, I would have to call the hospital to like get taken to the hospital, and I didn't want all that drama like in between. Which good thing was at the hospital because of her breaths like decreasing and whatever. So they kept checking me. It's like I said, maybe 8 o'clock in the morning, something like that. Still at a 3. I think that's what I felt bad about, that I got the epidural and I was still only dilated to a 3. But my doctor was not one of those doctors that be like, you have to wait till you get to this centimeter to get it. She was like, if you want it as soon as you get there, I'll give it to you. So thank God for that, because I never got to anything else. I was at a 3 the whole time, and then Arthur was born. So I never would have had an epidural if I was with another doctor. And I probably would have been dead, because like I had nothing left in my body. So I ended up being in labor 22 hours and something, so almost a full day. So they gave me at 8 o'clock the what's this stuff called, the speech labor picking, I don't even remember now. I know y'all know, Pitocin, to speed my labor up. It didn't do anything. I was still at a 3. They had to put those like monitors on my stomach to keep up with her breathing and all that. And then I don't know, it was close to 6, because she was born like 6 something. That little machine that was monitoring her, it went like this. And then I felt like I was having contractions like before I had the epidural. It kind of felt like that same level. And like you just had to breathe through them and push and whatever. But before that, while you on the epidural, you can feel them, but it wasn't like interrupting nothing. And so they wouldn't let me eat. I ain't tell y'all that. They wouldn't let me eat. They wouldn't let me drink. I couldn't even drink water, y'all. I could only have ice. I was so mad. I was so hungry. It had been almost a whole day. And then so when the little thing like did a little whatever, and then I kept telling them they had just checked me, so I was still at 3, and I was telling them I could feel those little cords, you know, they stick out those, well, they have stuck some cords up there to put on the baby's head, maybe, I don't know, but it was to track her still with her breathing and all that. So I was like, I feel these cords, they feel like they sliding out. And she was like, no, we just checked you, you're fine. So she walked out the room, and that's when the thing started going. And then I was feeling the contractions again, and I felt like I had to poop. So, and then I felt the cords coming out. So then, when I tell you, they like ran in the room, put me in the stirrups or whatever, and she was like, her head is right here, like. I'm like, yeah, I just told y'all she was coming out. And so she was like, the first push I did, because you know you like numb or whatever, she was like, the first push I did was basically I didn't do a push. So then she was telling me how to push. So I literally did one push and she came out. And I still remember what it felt like when she came out. And she was only 4 pounds, 16 ounces. So she was tiny. And yeah, so that was it, basically. All that stuff, like when they cleaning you up and stuff, you don't even know that's going on because there's so much stuff going on in the room. My mama was in there. I think my mama was in there. My mama was in there and my aunt Ruby was in there when I had her. And then my stepmama and my mama, I let both of them cut the cord together. It felt like forever before they brought her to me because they had to like weigh her and all that. And then my auntie was holding them and holding her and taking pictures, and my mama was holding her and taking pictures. My stepmom was holding her and taking pictures. I was like, when I'm gonna see the baby? And so yeah, it was fun though. Like, you know, they sit you as soon as they take her out, they sit her on your chest or whatever. But then they take her and do all that. So yeah. So right after that, a friend of mine that I've known for a long time, he came to see me while I was doing skin to skin. Then I didn't want to get her bathed. I didn't want to bathe her till we got home because it's like the stuff that come out in the viscera or whatever, it's nutritional for their skin, and so it's better for it to like dry on them and all that stuff and let all that get in their skin. That's probably why she's so sickly now, because she actually had to get a bath because they came and told me, they was like, can we give her a bath because we still haven't heard her cry. And that's one of the things she has to do before she leaves. So I was like, oh, yeah, whatever. So, I was not happy about it. And so, right after you give birth, you're in this, like, big suite, whatever. It's nice. Everybody can sit in here. It's like, pull out couches and tables and TVs and everything. As soon as you give birth to that baby, you getting your butt in a wheelchair. And you getting in one of them small rooms. that only 2 people can stand in. Man, I was like, y'all take me to this living room and they like help you get up or whatever, because you know you can't feel your legs, but you got to get from the bed to the wheelchair. Kind of scary, but after I was in the wheelchair, it was fine. And my room was like around the corner or whatever. I was so like energized, and my mama was not. She was like, I'm ready to go to bed type thing. She went with RP while she got her bath, and I sent my dad and them to go get me some Wendy's because I was so hungry. And I told them folks to bring me a Dr. Pepper because I was still drinking sodas a little bit then, but I was craving a soda like that whole time. And I was like, I need my Dr. Pepper ASAP. So as soon as RP came out, I asked for my Dr. Pepper and I got my Dr. Pepper. And so I was hungry, and it was like the kitchen was closed, but they could bring me like a sandwich or something. I was like, no. So I sent my dad to go get me a Baconator meal. And then my mama was watching her get her bath. And then the nurse was helping me, like, to see if I need to go to the bathroom, stuff like that. But I was just talking to the nurse, and good thing I had like a nice nurse, because I just felt like talking, and my mom was like, I'm sleepy. And so I actually let them take her to the nursery, because everybody suggested that you let them go to the nursery so you can rest and sleep and all that, and they just bring the baby in there when she needs feeding or when you want to see her or whatever. So she came in there for a little while before we went to sleep, and I breastfed her. One thing I didn't know about breastfeeding that I didn't know until after I stopped was that you're supposed to, when you feed, you don't just feed on one side. You feed on one side, burp the baby, and then you offer the other side. I didn't do that. I thought you were just supposed to feed one side, never did, and then feed the other side. But feed the other side the next feeding. But you're supposed to offer both at the time or whatever. I wish I would have brought my breast pump, so I would have at least put it on to like kind of start my production. But at the time I thought she was getting the milk she needed. And so I'm gonna go in the store and I'll finish this when I get back. So come to find out later on, well, the next morning my brother was at the hospital, the one that I like lived in the house with. And I was just like, he was talking about how he needed to go, like mom was telling him to go check into the hospital downstairs, go to the emergency room. And I was like, what did he go to the emergency room for? So, come to find out, the day I was giving birth to Arby, like, I was still in labor. Mama had left for a little while, but she said she had a meeting. Jordan, that's my brother's name, he went with her. And she was at the meeting, but she was still standing outside, I think. It was like before the meeting started. And he told her to go get, she told him to go get some gas. And he left. And right after that, she heard like a car accident. Come to find out, it was my brother. My brother has like the worst luck with cars. Most of the time, it's not his fault. This time, it was not his fault. It was another accident. It was an accident like at an intersection, and he was at the front of the intersection. And one of the cars like slid and hit the front of my mama's car. So, yeah, that happened. I didn't find out that they had gotten in a car accident, I think, until after I got home. I don't think they told me in the hospital. I think it's after I got home. But the whole time I was there, I ate cheeseburgers and they were off the chain. I did not want to leave the hospital. You know, old folks, well, black old folks, got all these things about what you're supposed to do after you had a baby and all this stuff. So, RP did take her, we did pay for her to get newborn photos in the hospital, the expensive ones, but it was worth it. Her pictures are gorgeous. And then, what I was thinking, I got up the next morning and took a shower. My grandma told me afterwards, well, I think my aunt told me before my grandma got there, that I wasn't supposed to take a shower. They, you know, they recommend you wipe off, like, kind of, well, people call it a whole bath, but you wipe off until your body is healed because your body's open and stuff like that. So I was like, oops, oh well. I took one now. So I felt so much better. I don't know why, but I felt so much better after I had took that shower. Even though they like cleaned me after I gave birth. But yeah, I felt so much better after I took that shower. And then most people say, but it did have that little thing in the toilet where you had to pee like so much before they let you go. But most people say they make you poop before you leave the hospital. I didn't have to do that. I did it at home. It was it was mentally horrifying. But actually doing it, if you're doing some other stuff, then it's not gonna be that bad compared to that. And it was pretty scary because I did have stitches. The only reason my stitches weren't that bad is because I've had tears before, but it was hard to sit down like the first, I'd say the first 4 days, something like that. So that little spray, Dermaplast spray, that's gonna be your best friend. That and them preparation H pads. I didn't have hemorrhoids, but you could put it on the stitches part. Man, you talking about off the chain. I kept my, I don't know if it's expired or what, but I still got both of them things. I don't think the preparation H is, and I don't know if the Dermaplast even. Most of the stuff like in aerosol cans nowadays don't even expire. So, well, it probably do expire, but they don't have a date on it. So if y'all notice that, like on y'all, well, I don't know about sunscreen or whatever, but in stores they used to have a due date on everything, but now they tell you, like lotions for instance, they used to have due dates, expiration dates. Now they either put it in a code where you can't read it but the store can read it, or they'll say it's good until it's at a consistency that seems weird to you, which is stupid to me, because if you this is the first time me buying your product, how do I know what's inconsistent about your product? That's stupid. Only people that would know that is people that buy your product on the regular. When you want to have your best product on the shelf at all times so you can keep new customers. Don't get me started on retail. But yeah, that's pretty much my birth story. I had to go buy. What I didn't like was I got let out of the hospital at well, you have to say 2 days. Was it 2 days, 3 days? I can't remember which one. But basically, you leave the same time you got there, or the same time she was born. So when we left, it was like 6:30, something like that. So and I think it was on a Sunday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Maybe I think it was on a Sunday. So it was just 2 days. So you had to go get like your pills or whatever. And the only pharmacy that's open in Montgomery on Sundays after 6 o'clock is the one that's 24 hours. And it's like out of the way. It was kind of close to us, but it was still out of the way. Like, it wasn't on the way home. And we had to sit there and wait for the prescription to be filled. So it was so uncomfortable to be in the car. And then you got the baby. Like, I was in the back seat, so I had the baby beside me, tending to her, and then trying to, like, every little bump in the road, you're going to feel it. So I would suggest bringing a pillow to sit on in the car on the way home. So, yeah, we had to do that. But after I was, like, at home, I was fine. Like, my grandma came and checked on me every day. Arpa was fine. Just the bathroom thing. Pooping for the first time. And I tried, the first 2 days, I tried to not walk a lot. Like, I just tried to sit down and only get up to go to the bathroom or do something that Arpa needed. Other than that, I sat down so I could give my body time to... So the stitches, in my opinion, could heal faster. I didn't have the stitches that you had to take out. I guess they were dissolvable or whatever. But it felt like real stitches, which they probably were. But still dissolvable. What I did not like was the checkup that you have to actually get out, or you get out of the house and go to the, like, first baby checkup. Sucks. Because it's like, okay, I have to drive myself. I have somebody else drive me. It hurts to sit down. I'm going to have to sit on hard chairs. And technically, they worried about the baby, not worried about you. So they don't really think about that you fresh out, whatever. Because you have to go, when you, on WIC, you have to go to the WIC office. And you have to go to the doctor's office. So that's 2 appointments. And then, I ended up having Arpa got put in the hospital 2 weeks after we had been at home. You know, you do the stay in the house for 6 weeks. So that's when she got put in the NICU after 2 weeks of being home. So I was still not healed all the way, and I had to sit in those hard freaking chairs. That's a whole nother story. I put that in with the NICU story, but still, to my point, there's no catering to you after you had a baby. So